Hey guys, welcome back to Mitza Creek Farm. Today is August 1st, which is hard to believe, but the first of the month means it is garden tour day. Here's our perennial garden by our house. Look at how massive these hydrangeas are. They're bigger than my head and they are absolutely beautiful. The bees are loving them. My daylilies are starting to bloom. I have not been weeding in here because the chickens are in here. All this digging up here, that is from the chickens. And you can see that they are kind of ruining some of my hydrangeas. But the perennials that I planted this spring, like this one right here, that's a delphinium. Those are blooming. They're not getting as bushy as I would like. But considering how late I planted these guys, especially like the coneflowers and the delphiniums, I am happy that they are even blooming, and add in the digging from the chickens, and I'm happy they're alive, I guess. I do need to weed in here, especially over in this area right here and in the back. All right, now let's head down and look at the pumpkin patch and the garden. I am loving this little growing area that I have going here and the wall of pumpkins. I have to come down every few days and train these vines and retrellis them. You can see how far they grow out. And so every few days I just come down and I just spend maybe half an hour and train them up. And then the ends always like to go out towards the sun, which is okay. But these are looking awesome. You can see all of the stuff for the fall baskets are looking great as well. So these are mini Turk's turban. And then we have mini worts. Got quite a few mini worts, which is awesome. Oh, this one's pretty far along. These ones. They will be starting to turn orange pretty soon, it looks like. Here are the bigger Turk's turbans, the regular size ones. That one is not very big yet, but I did have some big ones in here. Where did they go? There we go. Look at that one. It's a beauty. And then we have gourds just kind of everywhere in here. Those plants right there look more like bush, but on the container I wrote vine. That is probably my fault, and it kind of ruins the look of having this entire wall of vining plants, but it is what it is, right? I will know for next year. I have to actually look and see what they are, but they are definitely bush, and they are not vining. We have been working on getting this area weeded again, because man, that just gets out of control. But our sunflowers are coming in good there. We even have one that's been in bloom for like over a week now. And so we are enjoying that every day, and the heads on the other ones keep getting bigger and bigger. Look at that. That is exciting to see. I didn't think we'd get any sunflowers this year because of our sheep getting out. Now you can see we've got weeds everywhere back here. We're gonna take a garbage bag and put over these guys so we don't spread thistle seed everywhere, but I can see it blowing around. That was on our project for yesterday that we didn't get to. But we're just doing what we can. Feels like there's more things to do, especially when you have to work. Doing this and working, like a real job, is kind of complicated. It really makes you prioritize your time. Let's go look in the high tunnel and see how everything is doing in there. Ooh, it's a little stuffy in here. I need to get the fan turned on. But look at our beans. They are doing great. These are green beans, and those are wax beans in that row over there. But the green beans are doing great. And underneath those are for the fall baskets. They just don't need as much water, and they need to get watered by hand. So that's why those are there. Our peppers are doing awesome. We're picking some every couple of days. And these are habanero peppers, and I'm just waiting for them to turn orange. They're supposed to be orange, and they're a heatless habanero, and we have so many peppers, so I'm anxiously awaiting them to turn orange. They all still have that waxy feel on them too, so they're just taking forever to ripen. And then our bell peppers, you can see we have them in all different stages here on these different plants, but they are doing good. Next row are our zucchini, and they are doing great. These are the Ronde Denise zucchini squash. We are loving having these guys. They are awesome. This one has a whole bunch of little ones on it. This is what it looks like when it's ripe. And it is bigger than a softball, but smaller than a volleyball. And it weighs a couple pounds. And we are loving cooking these up. They taste really good. Favorite are the Italian heirloom zucchinis, the long white, I think it's called long white Palmero, long white Italian, whatever it is. Anyways, those are like really buttery and tender, and these are a Sicilian heirloom, and they are super tender as well. They just have a little bit different flavor to it, but we are loving having those as well, and it just gives everything just a little bit different flavor than the Italian. And this is what the white Italian heirloom looks like. I have one over here that looks like it's getting close to being able to be picked. And then the Dunjas, which are just the traditional green zucchinis. So right now we are picking zucchini like every other day, which is great. It gives us enough. Actually, sometimes there's times where we'll pick 2 or 3. It just really depends, but it's enough for us, and then just to have a couple extra for whoever wants them for either at the stand or for family. So here are the wax beans, and these guys are ready to do another picking. They've already had one picking. While Beck and I were gone, my parents came and picked some. And look at all these cucumbers. So these cucumbers are going to be picked for the market on Saturday. You can see we're struggling a little bit with cucumber beetles. They were eating the ends of a couple. So we just use those for ourselves. The nice ones are for the customers, but look at all of those cucumbers. And then we have the pickling over there. And then here's the exciting part, the tomatoes. Our slicing and paste tomatoes are finally starting to ripen, and so these will be picked today, and we are going to start making sauces out of the paste ones, and then we'll probably save some slicers for us and for family, and then the rest will go to market on Saturday. We started picking cherry tomatoes July 1st, and right now we are picking a lot a day. We are picking about 6 pints to sell down at the stand a day, and also any extras then we just eat here at home. But we are getting lots and lots of cherry tomatoes, which is awesome. And I will use these also for pastas and for sauces as well. I like to just throw them in the roaster and let them slowly simmer and get a nice sweeter tomato sauce out of it. Now our peas are all done. I need to pull them out. We do have a new row coming up behind there. They are not appreciating the heat very much because it has been super hot and humid lately. But I think that when it starts cooling off in a couple weeks, that they will like that better. But then let me show you my flower beds back here. They are turning out amazing. So this is the first one. I need to come in and weed this area here, but this is that first one. Look at my blackberry bush. It is doing awesome. We obviously are not going to get any blackberries off of it this year, but that is a healthy blackberry bush. But this is the one that has all of the milkweed in it. And look how thick this is. So the milkweed is along the edges and the back. And then we have marigolds and zinnias. And we have bee balm and straw flowers. And some petunias. And look how beautiful that is. And funny enough, once we started watering back here, this is where we had beans last year, and we have all these volunteer beans. So that is a bonus as well. I'm not pulling them because I want to be able to harvest the beans off of them so that we have more that we can freeze. But look at this. And then you can see there's all my little starts of milkweed. And then there's just all sorts of milkweed and yarrow mixed in there. And let's go look at the other one, because that one is slightly different. This one I was doing mostly for like milkweed based and for the monarchs, because we have naturally a lot of milkweed along the edge over there, and we've pulled it and kind of smothered it out everywhere else. So I wanted to make sure that I planted new stuff to kind of replace the stuff that we pulled. My hope is that eventually the milkweed really takes over in here, and then that's just a bed of milkweed. But we'll see in future years how that works out. But then this is the bed that I planted all annuals in, and it is also looking beautiful. I had Beck weed whip all the borage out because I was just over it. Look at all the volunteer marigolds. And then this is this beautiful bed. These are all cosmos. These are zinnias. These are coleus. Look how beautiful those are. Some of them are starting to flower. And that's a weed. Looks like we have some tomato volunteers as well. This is, I think this is bee balm, or it might be a weed. I don't quite know. Tomato volunteer. So this is looking awesome as well. Oh, look at this beautiful. This is a queen lime red zinnia. Look how cool that is. And then these ones are Peruvinias, I believe. P-E-R-U-V-I-N-I-A. Both of these are from Baker Creek. And then the queen lime red, this is another color in that. This is more pink. So I am really enjoying those, especially when I'm down here working. I can sit, I put this umbrella up, I have even more shade, and I can sit in the shade and just enjoy the flowers. Now let's go look at the bush pumpkins. I never did lay ground cover here and along the edge like I was planning, but these are all the ones that I started from seed, and a lot of them have pumpkins already on them. These ones right here are all a short amount of days. They were 80 days or less, I believe, and they are doing awesome. They all have little tiny like green pumpkins that need to open and get pollinated, or they have bigger ones that have been pollinated, and that worked out really well, and I have not noticed any cucumber beetle damage on them. I was worried because we had some inside the high tunnel, but I'm not seeing anything really out here. Look at that. I don't know if you can tell, but I really love growing pumpkins. The whole process just fascinates me, and I feel like I understand it, and so that's probably why I like it, because when it comes to other things that I don't understand, I try learning and I just don't get it. And so pumpkins I understand, and I absolutely love growing these guys, and I love seeing all the different varieties and how they change as they grow. So So those are about the size of bowling balls there. And there's another one. So these are all bush varieties here. And they are just doing great. Let's look and see what this one looks like. Ooh, these are kind of cool. I'll have to find the flag to see what varieties they are, but they're like a tannish color right now. Those are some bigger ones. Look at these. And this is the coolest area, I think. These bushes are almost the same height as me. They go up to my shoulders and they are loaded with pumpkins. It's hard looking in there and seeing. You can see I tried climbing in there the other day. But they're loaded with pumpkins. So I am so happy with those. We did have a few cucumber beetles earlier in the season, but I think that we missed the really big hatching windows. We didn't have too many, and I think that they didn't get enough off of these, so that's why they went into the high tunnel. But look at all of these guys. I think these are icicles. I'm not 100% positive, but we have probably 200 to 300 of these little guys right here because each plant is loaded with them. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on it. And then in here, there's some yellow ones. I don't know what those are. Oh, and I see lots of bees flying around. These here are mashed potato squash. Those are always very prolific and people love them, and they look cool too. Look at all of the vines and little tendrils off of them. Oh, there's a cucumber beetle and a honeybee. Do you guys remember when we dug a ditch last fall and we threw in, oh, that might have been, yeah, that was last fall. And we threw in all the mums that were either spent or ugly looking or dead, or we thought were dead. And this is what happened. We didn't bury them. In fact, earlier this spring before they filled out, you could literally see like the shape of the pot. We just pulled them out of the pots and threw them in the trench, and then life happened. And so we didn't have time to bury them, and they were kind of last on the priority list. But they're doing awesome, and they are beautiful. And we even have some that are starting to flower. So I threw these lupine in here. These were from our perennial sale. Look how beautiful that is. And then there's some mums. guys need a good weeding and a good watering, especially the ones up here. You can tell that they are more stressed, but that was a really good experiment. Just weed whipped those for me, so now we are going to get the sprinkler and put on them. I probably will give them a little bit of fertilizer too, knowing that they really don't get much for nutrients, and then they'll perk right back up and hopefully get a little greener too. And it is starting to get really hot out. Like I said, it has been hot and humid, and most of the storms have missed us, so we desperately need rain again. Thankfully, these guys are all on drip and timers, and so we're not seeing, other than wilting during the day on some varieties, we're not seeing any effects on these, but the pastures really need water. That is it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.